Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is a very exciting day because I just saw my USPS truck delivery man pull up to my house and brought me this. This should be, crossing fingers, 2 books. One book should be Powerless, and then the other book should be Iron Flame. Should be is the key term because originally Iron Flame was supposed to be delivered tomorrow, but I got a last minute update to my order status and it said it was going to be delivered today. So we are going to open my wonderful book box and I see 2 books. So we have our first book is Powerless. I will be doing a vlog, I think, of me reading this because this is probably my second most anticipated reads because Sarah Caroli, who did not like the Fourth Wing book as much as everybody else, said this book for like banter in the relationship was better than Fourth Wing. So I'm very excited to read this. It says hunted, hunter, destined for each other. This will probably be in a vlog, but what I'm most excited about is this book, and this is Iron Flame, and I actually got the sprayed edges. I got very upset when Fourth Wing came out because I saw it at Target and it had the beautiful sprayed edges on it, but at the time it didn't have like a big hype on it, and so I picked it up because I was shocked that Target had a book with sprayed edges, and it even had sprayed edges with like the dragons on them, and I was like, oh, that looks really interesting. I'll come back and get it at another time because I already had a bunch of stuff that I was meaning to buy from Target then, and I was going to come back and pick it up later. Very quickly after that, it blew up and you couldn't find any of the Fourth Wing with sprayed edges ever again. So I had to get one without sprayed edges, but this one I did. So this is obviously book 2 in the Fourth Wing series, and I am very excited to read this. Does it have any? No. So the inside cover is just black. Nothing fancy. Does have the map, and that's pretty much it. I am so excited. I'm going to be doing a vlog, which is what this is. We are doing a vlog of me reading this, giving my reactions, because the other thing that I wanted was I wanted to get this right away. When Fourth Wing came out, by the time I got a hold of it, I already knew kind of what the ending was going to be like, and I wanted, anytime someone says there's like it's shocking or there's a big like plot twist, like in my mind I'm immediately dissecting everything that happens to see if I can figure out what the plot twist is. And so I wanted to read this before anything comes out because then I'm truly going in blind as to what this book is all about and how it's going to advance the story. And I didn't want to potentially be spoiled on what happens. This vlog is going to be no spoilers. I'm going to try to limit any of my reactions for what happens. If there's a plot twist, I'm not going to call it out. You ruin the experience of reading the book if you already know there's a plot twist coming. So I'm not going to say there's a plot twist, or I'm going to hope to not have my reaction show the plot twist. And just read this book and see what it's all about and what my thoughts are. I gave Fourth Wing 5 stars. I'm curious, being that this is book 2, if it's going to hold up to that 5-star status or if it's going to drop some. So we are going to go ahead and get started reading Iron Flame. Yay. it is now the next day from the last clip that you just saw. I finished Iron Flame last night, as you saw. I had to take a couple of minutes at the end of me finishing this book to kind of compose myself and figure out what I was thinking, because I was not expecting the ending. It was good. So I have thoughts, but I don't have a lot of thoughts. So we'll start with the rating. So this is gonna be 5 stars. It was between 4.75 and 5 stars, but because I was constantly thinking of this book as I was reading it, like when I wasn't reading it, I was thinking about what was happening and, you know, what I was thinking might happen next. And so this was in my brain for a long time as I was reading it. This took me about 3 days to finish, and that was only because I was working and I just couldn't devote the amount of time to read this whole 600-page book. But it took me about 3 days, and it's definitely a 5-star for me. Fourth Wing was a 5-star. Iron Flame is a 5-star, and I cannot wait for the next book to come out so I can see what's gonna happen. Now, this book is broken up into 2 parts. Part 1 was not, I enjoyed it, but I got more frustrated in part 1 than I did in part 2, because part 2 was when stuff happened. Part 1 was kind of infuriating to me at parts because I was getting annoyed with Violet. So one of the biggest things in a book, and I think this is kind of like everybody's or a lot of people's complaints about books, is the communication trope is very infuriating. And I felt like that happened in part 1 and in part 2, but mostly Violet was infuriating to me because she wouldn't speak and like express herself and like ask questions, because she just anticipated, or she just assumed, that Xaden wouldn't be able to answer them, or he wouldn't answer them, and so she never asked. And if she would have asked, she might have actually gotten answers, and instead of like fuming and getting frustrated. So that was the one thing that I did not like, but I did like the dragons. I did like the storyline. I'm very curious how the next book is going to go about. Without getting, because this is going to be spoiler free, so I'm not going to say what happened, obviously, because other people are reading this, but I am interested to see what comes next. So yeah. I did end up tabbing. I did not tab the very end just because things were going so fast and I just didn't have time to tab. I do have other kind of thoughts and predictions that I wrote down in here that I'm curious if they're going to come true next book or if I'm just completely off base. But I did end up writing down some like thoughts on sticky notes in here because I don't want to write on my book, and so I have sticky notes that I'll write my thoughts on. So it was very good. I did enjoy it. Cannot wait for the next one to come out. And yeah, this is definitely a very, very good book. I'm very excited that I read it. If you're interested in getting into fantasy, I think this is a great choice for you, because the Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, it's not a fantasy that has a lot of complex world building. The first book in particular, I had no problem reading. They talked about the different like locations around the country, but it was pretty much focused on one aspect, and it was very easy to read. It was very action-packed and fast-paced, and it's a really good book. Whereas some other, like Throne of Glass, has lots and lots and lots of books, lots of different places that are talked about, and it can get a little confusing in my mind to read Throne of Glass at times. I've never had the problem with Fourth Wing. Fourth Wing does have, or at least in Iron Flame, it does have this like map. So if you are curious kind of where things are, you can refer back to it. But I don't refer back to maps very often, and I can still kind of grasp what's going on and like how things are progressing and like how the different things that different countries are kind of occurring without having to refer back to the map. So it's a very easy fantasy read. It's got romance, it's got action, it's got politics, it's got war. It's got a bunch of different characters with a bunch of different like magic capabilities, so it's a very good book. So if I would highly recommend Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, and I'm very excited to see what the next book is going to be about and how the story is going to progress. So that is going to wrap up this vlog. I want to thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.